Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Indie Comics Review. This is the show where every week I review 3 indie comic books. If this is the kind of content that you find interesting, be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Now let's get started. Our first book this week is called New Masters. It is written by Shobo Coker and it is drawn by his brother Shove Coker and it is on the Image Comics label. 2019 Creators for Creators Grant recipients, Nigerian brothers Shobo and Shove present New Masters, a groundbreaking blend of science fiction, adventure, and drama, and also vibrant Afrofuturism. In a striking vision of West Africa under the thumb of alien colonizers, a motley crew of outcasts find themselves caught up in a power struggle for control of an ancient artifact with immense power. In the early 21st century, Earth was overrun with alien invaders. The Jovians are the dominant race and they've taken over the Earth and they're stripping it for resources. The most abundant of these is obsidian, which is running out and pretty soon is going to be depleted, or at least I should say depleted in another decade. When that happens, Earth will be left as an empty shell where chaos and mayhem will be the norm. Now, we're following the stories of characters from several different walks of life. A girl named Ola, and she has a mechanical arm and she has a hover bike. And she has this robotic assistant that's like everything from her personal assistant to her social media connection. Ola dies for obsidian in dangerous places just to stay alive. There's Tosin, whose father is a big minerals trader with the Jovians, the dominant alien race. And he's one of those people that will just do anything for money. She's working with her lover, who's like a spy. And they're planning to steal something called the Eye of Olympia. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this Eye of Olympia is supposedly going to like swing the direction. It's turned the tide in Earth's favor, so they have more leverage over the Jovians. And there's a series of mercenaries that are also going to be hunting for the Eye as well. The Coker brothers, they've been working on this series for, they say, over a decade, and it's like a big love letter to Mother Africa for them, and it looks great. Shove's art really paints a beautiful but bleak picture of this dystopian future while being truly authentic, right down to the dialects. New Masters is like a work of art, and from beginning to end, it's just it was quite enjoyable to read. And just to look at the artwork and get involved in the story. And I really highly recommend this book. The next book is Primos, and it is written by L. Madrigal and illustrated by Carlo Barberi, and it's on the Image label. Centuries ago, 2 Mayan brothers constructed a spacecraft that sent them hurtling into outer space. And they returned to Earth only to find their culture and civilization destroyed. One of the brothers vows revenge and seeks to decimate the planet with intergalactic technology garnered on his travels. To prevent this, his sibling creates a contingency plan that activates the world's protectors, descendants of their own family. Now, the fate of the planet lies in the hands of 3 cousins scattered throughout Central and North America who have never even met. The hero of Primos is this young teenager named Ricky. He's just a typical kid, and one night he gets home from a party where he's overindulged, and he's visited by this Mayan astronaut from the past. And this Mayan astronaut tells Ricky that he is the last chance pretty much to save the world. Turns out Ricky is a descendant of this space traveling warrior, and he's apparently a powerful sorcerer. Who knew, right? So the Mayan dude proceeds to regale Ricky and his brother, who's named Lorenzo, with this story about how the Mayan and his brother traveled to this distant planet centuries ago and how they mixed up their coordinates on their way back and ended up in the year 2022. Seeing what happened to a city and to a civilization, the other brother just kind of went apeshit, and he just vowed to destroy this civilization that he believes has destroyed his people. There's a lot to like about Primos, or maybe Primos. I'm even mispronouncing it. If so, I apologize. There's a good art by Barbary, who is also he's also done books like Deadpool. Art looks great. Madrigal is he's a stand-up comedian, and he's worked for places like The Daily Show, and it's a pretty well-written story. It's I would say definitely all ages, even though it does have a lot of kind of cursing in it, but it's not. It's that's my pet peeve. My one problem with the book is that it has a lot of that tic-tac-toe exclamation mark, $ cursing. I just wish if you're gonna do that, just either use the real words and use less of them and just use them only for effect, or just just use words like darn and oh gosh or whatever, and just make it a totally G-rated book. I just hate when they do that, because that's kind of a cop-out. But I'm being nitpicky about that. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. Other than that, Primos is well executed. It's a very, very good book, technically and story-wise. And it pays tribute to Latino heritage, specifically Mexican heritage. And hopefully this book ends up in the hands of a lot of young Latino kids, and it helps to not only help them to love comics or get into comics more, but also learn a little bit more about their culture and their heritage. So from that aspect, kudos to this creative team and to Image for putting it out. So yeah, definitely a thumbs up for me. Last book is Animal Castle #1. And this is written by Xavier Dorison and illustrated by Felix Delip. And it is on the Ablaze imprint. On the farm, all animals were equal. In the castle, some were more equal than others. For fans of the best-selling Stray Dogs and the Eisner Award-winning Beasts of Burden comes an animal fable at once familiar and surprising. You may think you know the story, but set aside your assumptions. This animal uprising is unlike any you have read. Nestled in the heart of a farm forgotten by men, the animal castle is ruled with an iron hoof by President Silvio, the bull, and its dog militia savor the power, while the other animals are exhausted by work until the arrival of the mysterious Ozalard, a traveling rat who would teach them the secrets of civil disobedience. So something happened to the human population, and the animals formed their own society. An old castle was turned into a farm. There's this cat named Miss B, and she recently became a widow, and then now she's got to take care of her kids. She's got 2 kittens to take care of, and she works like super hard every day, just slaving away in this fascist society. And it's just so sad to see, even though they represent people, these are animals, but they totally represent human societies. The animals do grueling work all day long, and they're literally paid in buttons. Anyone who speaks out is tied to a stake and eaten. The story borrows many elements from Animal Farm. Some things are different, like instead of pigs being in charge, in this case it's a bull. The dogs are still the enforcers, and the population is still being fed propaganda about how great the leader is and how they all need to work harder. And basically it's an allegory for how societies always seem to find a way to slip into fascism. And that's pretty much because, there's always going to be like a greedy, powerful minority, and they're going to manipulate the masses into the gullible masses, members of the masses, and they're just going to kill anybody who disagrees and silence them. There's a lot I like about Animal Castle. The story is good, the art's good, and it's a tale that never gets old. It's always going to be relevant because there's always going to be greedy people. What doesn't work is the lettering. The lettering, the font is okay, but the actual size of the font and the size of the text bubbles tends to just vary, and sometimes it's really small. You have to squint to read it. And what should have happened is either they should have edited it better and reduce that text and said whatever was being said in less words, or they should have printed it in a prestige format. See, like Aftershock, there's a lot of one-shot prestige formats, or like the Black Label books with DC. If they'd been printed in that size, the text would have been a lot larger, and the picture would have looked better, and the printing cost would have been more. Maybe it was not feasible because of that reason. I'm not sure. Paper shortages and supply chain and all that stuff. But that's the only thing that the biggest problem I have with the book. Otherwise, it's great. I'm sure they're going to take their own turns with it. They're borrowing from the Animal Farm story, but they're probably going to go their own way with it in ways. I haven't read issue number 2 yet, which is out, and I have it. I just got a chance to read number 1 since number 1 came out when I was on my medical hiatus, and didn't have a chance to get out to the comic shops at that point. But all that being said about my problem with it is definitely on my pull list, and I just can't wait to get the next issue. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for Animal Castle. It's a really good book. And it's going to be all for this Indie Comics review, folks. I've been talking about the RS Alley add-on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a special. I'm going to do a special RS Alley edition of Indie Comics review with nothing but the books that have been sent to me by some people who have sent me like copies of PDFs or even solid hard copies of books they want me to review. So I'm going to make a special episode of that, and I promise I'm going to do that really, really soon. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. Everybody has been trying to keep up, so just please bear with me. On the other hand, tomorrow being Friday, it's Thursday when this video comes out. Tomorrow, Friday, Circumstances, my comic book son and I are going to be doing a hangout on Friday night, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and we're going to be talking about 10 of our favorite comics in our collection. The books, 10 books that really have some special story or some kind of an attachment that we have for those books. So if you have a chance, be sure to check us out tomorrow at 6 p.m. So until next time, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn notifications on so you know when I'm making another video. So until next week, I'll see you guys in the funny papers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up.